Kia ora guys, welcome back to the Black Jersey. Good afternoon, my name's Max and I'm the host of this channel. A big thank you will always go to my patrons before the start of every video. If you're keen to get some early access to content and some exclusive access stuff, you can join one of the 3 tiers I've got over there. A big thank you as well to new viewers who are just arriving. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to me if you enjoy my content. England versus Italy. Bit of a mixed bag of a test day. England will be happy with the winning margin. Italy will be happy from coming back from a pretty poor first half. And the coaches will both have a lot to take away from the tests in terms of things to improve. Most of the teams going into the 2023 Rugby World Cup have some kind of identity that us as fans have given them, but for England and Italy, we have not quite figured them out just yet. Italy's starting to look like an early 2010s Argentina. They're starting to have a well-oiled machine in attack. There's a few basic errors they are still making, and there's a lot of young, fresh talent in the team that's still a little bit raw, hence why it was good to have players like Luca BG and someone like Tommaso Allen in at 10. England as well, they are kind of showing all the symptoms of a team with a new head coach, and so this 2023 Six Nations has been a huge mixed bag of a year for them. To get into all the analysis I've got up my sleeves to discuss the game, we're going to go through a bit of the match day footage, so let's get right into this stuff here. For the first try of the match, Jamie George was always going to throw the line out straight. England made overpowering Italy up front a big part of their performance, as Italy's starting forward pack had a combined weight of 879 kgs compared to England's pack weight of 921 kgs. Italy did not start any players above 2 meters tall either, while all of England's starting forwards, aside from the front row of course, can be considered as tall enough to be line-out jumpers. As England had a clear advantage with the pack size, they were right to use it. With Maro Itoje catching the line-out throw from a Saracens teammate, it's pretty easy there thanks to the difference in the pack weight. Jack Willis is over to score the opening try. We then cut to the 27th minute ahead of England's next proper attacking opportunity. It's Alex Dombrand who takes the line-out throw in from 5 meters out. The variety of jumpers which the All Blacks should take note of is making it very hard for the line-out to be contested by the Italian team. As Italy are penalised for illegal entry into the maul, England however don't show any clear structure as to how to use an advantage on attack. Jack van Poortvliet had a far better performance this week, but he can't do too much over here. He's asked by Owen Farrell to just go straight out the back, and Farrell cross kicks to Stewart, though the try is botched. While the commentators were busy discussing Lorenzo Canone's yellow card for the illegal entry into the maul, I think it's far more important to instead discuss why scoring a try off a cross kick worked well last week against Scotland, but not this week. To compare the 2 Borthwick era cross kicks that we've seen, let's compare the position of the place kicker. As we can see against Scotland in clips I edited last week, Marcus Smith is in behind as a puppet master, directing pods of forwards to run the ball into contact. While neither cross kicks were pre-planned based on the evidence we have, Smith's use of pods, carrying the ball up the guts, forces Scotland to defend much narrower, as Scotland aren't too keen to leak a try out from a short range. As we cut to a wide shot I used last week, we can clearly see that the use of pods 5 meters out from the try line has packed Scotland into one side of the pitch, as they need to be wary of the incredible strength the England pack possess, increasing their chances of a close range score. As Scotland's backs are packed in, Max Malins is on the wing unmarked, so has all the time in the world to collect the eventual cross kick from Smith, eventually just jumping on the ball to score. Against Italy though, we need to look at how inferior this kick is. After Canone concedes the penalty at the maul, Farrell, of course, as I said before, calls for Van Poortvliet to go straight out the back, while none of the forwards detach from the driving maul at all. We instead see Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence take a pod shape in front of Farrell, who is the kicker this time rather than Marcus Smith. Allen and Rutzer fall for the decoy lines, but the rest of the Italian team can see exactly what's happening as they're defending. While the Italian backs do indeed press up to ensure every man is marked, they do so in a wide position to ensure Freddie Stewart has no inside options. Now that we can compare the right-hand side of the pitch for both cross kicks, we see that although Malins is on Stewart's inside as a passing option, the lack of drawing in of defenders through the forward pack has allowed for Ange Capuozzo to get into the position of the kick before Stewart. Although Capuozzo is just 5'10" with Stewart standing at 6'5", the fact that Stewart is marked makes it incredibly difficult to take the ball in. Stewart is coming onto the ball at pace, while Capuozzo has had the time to plant his feet in and get a good jump, pressuring Stewart into knocking the ball on. Luckily, Italy losing Cannone to the yellow card does at least allow England to exit the Italian half with points on the board. The forwards do well with recycling the ball as Itoje, as acting halfback, puts Sinclair through a gap to cross the gain line. In the next phase, Genge looks set for a pick and go before intelligently sending the ball over to Ollie Chessum, who dives in over a weak spot. While Italy have a torrid time in the first half, we finally get a glimpse of what an England attacking structure may look like as Van Poortvliet runs the cutter once again in the 35th minute. As we can see, England's pod shapes appear to be in the formation of a 1-3-3-1, with Genge on the blind side, 3 players on the ruck, a 3-man pod in the first receiver channel, then Chessum, a very mobile lock, serving as the single man pod outside Owen Farrell. I was glad to finally see some attack structure from England, but this isn't an encouraging sign. The last time I saw an attack shape similar to this as the main strike threat was with Joe Schmidt's Ireland in 2019. The structure is utilised for Ludlam to go out the back to Farrell, and because Ludlam's pod isn't in a diamond shaped, it's flat, the Italian defenders don't genuinely believe that this pod is the main strike threat. The fact that these players, Willis, Ludlam and Sinclair, are all standing upright is also evidence that Italy use to realise this isn't actually the thing to worry about at all, guys. While Italy's front row do hunch down to make sure this pod is marked, once Farrell has the ball, England are on the back foot, with Zuliani marking Farrell and Brex already in line with Farrell. Knowing Chessum is running an awful decoy line, Brex is now able to sprint out of the defensive line and go at Slade, killing the England momentum. As Brex takes care of his opposite man, Menoncello marks Lawrence. Huge pressure is applied to Slade thanks to the Italian defence being on the front foot. England's poor structure has allowed for Italy to read what's happening. This in turn forces Slade's pass to be incredibly bad. If this pass here goes to Stewart, as the arrows outline for you guys, England are away, it'll be easy to score a try. As the pass doesn't work out though, momentum is lost. Thankfully, Max Malins is able to recover this pass. We see the backs use their natural ability to team up very well and communicate very well to put Van Poortvliet over to score, to Twickenham's delight. While the fans are glad that an initial awful attack seems to have been recovered, it's not to be, as Ollie Lawrence's early obstruction on Luca Marisi is identified by the TMO and the try is ruled out. Had England organised their attack better to begin with, there would be no need for the TMO to rule out a try due to obstruction in the first place, but what do I know? I'm just a Kiwi, right guys? To conclude the first half, Jamie George is also able to dot down, with England leading at half-time by a 19-0 margin. Considering the look on his face near half-time though, it's pretty likely that Kieran Crowley gave Italy a big telling off at half-time. Marco Riccioni, the tight head prop, is able to dot down for Italy in the 43rd minute after Italy copy England's strategy and they just muscle up front. England are then awarded a penalty try in the 50th minute, though they fail to score again while Simone Ferrari is off with his yellow card. Italy's attack looks like a well-oiled machine in the second half though, with the likes of Capuozzo running several metres. The highlight of their second half though has to be their second try. In the 63rd minute, we see 4 Italian forwards run decoy lines towards 4 England forwards, leaving plenty of room for Tommaso Menoncello, who has the ball just behind the England 22-metre line. Federico Zani's decoy line is going the way of Marco Vernapola. Ferrari is marking Dan Cole, who is here for his 100th test, including 97 for England, while Luca BG marks Chessum. As the front rowers are busy getting in each other's face, Menoncello is able to get through for a clean break. After recovering his balance, he notices Freddie Stewart sprinting into cover, while Henry Arundel on his return from injury is doing the same. Menoncello's loss of balance has clouded his side of the entire pitch, so now that he's back up to his feet, Arundel has had the time to line him up. As Stewart is on the inside, Menoncello has to resort to pure power. Arundel does an excellent defensive job on just his 4th test, providing what is a possible try-saver for England. As Menoncello is on the front foot, Arundel goes low, knowing Menoncello's lack of support runners will allow England's entire defence to reset, as well as a possible turnover opportunity for the forwards. Because Arundel is heavier, he's able to slow Menoncello down, although this will go down as a missed tackle on Arundel's stat sheet. Menoncello loses his footing eventually due to the stoppage of momentum. Itoje and Ludlam are at the ruck first, only for Ludlam to just hold Itoje's wrist, which is pointless considering Itoje cannot legally win the turnover. As we can see in this freeze frame, Itoje is off his feet. Instead of getting over the ball like you should expect from a 6, Ludlam just simply exits the ruck despite being 5 meters away from his own try line in a lazy excuse for a ruck attendance. He was pretty good overall in this game, but this really lets down his overall match rating. BG and Rutzer don't waste any time taking Ludlam's place at the breakdown either. While Italy have generated some clean front foot ball at the breakdown thanks to Ludlam's laziness, we can see England are yet to organise their defence as Jamie George is still running back on side. Alessandro Fusco doesn't waste any time making his mark on the game once this front foot ball has been generated. He takes notice of the fact as well that there are 2 tight 5 forwards as the closest English players to the open side of the breakdown. Fusco gets up and he sells a priceless dummy to a 3-man pot on the outside before fitting nicely into the gap between Cole and Vunipola to score, with a brilliantly worked wonder try to Henry Arundel to finish the game off as well. The final score is 31-14. There's definitely a lot of mixed results, so we're going to hop into the full-time stats to discuss possibly what the context of all of these stats are. As all of my long-term viewers know, I get my stats from Ultimate Rugby. As we can see, Italy had the majority of the possession, but England had an overwhelming majority of the territory with 59%. Italy as well were able to run more meters than England, which was quite interesting. England's obviously just been working very hard on their defence as the coaches are still trying to develop their proper system going forward. Italy also made more passes and more offloads. England, though, 7 turnover to 4. That definitely would have had an impact on the game. Italy do need to get some more powerful type 5 forwards, I believe, as, you know, technique does trump size, but England is both bigger and more technically powerful when it comes to set piece. England, though, they missed a lot of the less crucial tackles. As we can see, 76%. The tackles they needed to make, they did definitely get those done. But man, 76% does need working on. The fact that Italy do put in a fair few kicks will probably be affecting this stat as well. Italy 83% can definitely go up, but they'll be happy with that. 50% goal kicking for Owen Farrell, very uncharacteristic as goal kicking the Six Nations. Maybe they should, I don't know, bring back Marcus Smith, the best 10 in the world. Ruck success. Whenever teams win matches, their ruck success tends to be higher than the opposition. We do see this feat again happening for the English. And the set piece, well, lineouts, there's a lot of them. Both teams, though, did get every lineout off their own throw. And the scrums, you can definitely see who performed better in this facet of the game as well. Italy can probably do to really reduce their penalty count as well. They got 8 inside their own half. England's, though, they missed a lot of opportunities. Perhaps Farrell has like a leg injury that isn't too serious that he can still play with. Perhaps that would explain his lack of running with the ball in hand, as he's never shied away from it per se in the past. He just has never obviously had it as his greatest strength, has always been kicking and distribution. England, though, just 7 penalties overall. Italy 8 inside their own half. Got to commend the Italians for that. England were really able to draw penalties out of the set pieces as well. I just really hope they're going to kick a few more goals next time around, as you do need to keep tallying those points up. Italy, they are improving a lot, of course. I said it ahead of the Six Nations beginning in my tournament preview. I mean, back in 2020, England used a pretty much like a B team or a mixed team, kind of a mix between both, against Italy for 2020. Nowadays, Italy are getting the job done, losing by barely anything when the fellow Six Nations teams are fielding their first choice lineups. Italy are starting to look like how Scotland's reputation would suggest they play. Italy are now looking like brave losers rather than just this awful, very devolved team using tactics from 5 years ago that the other teams in the Six Nations can just walk over. There's just a lot of very wee little things they need to get right, and as we've discussed throughout this whole video, I mean, the set piece is one of them. I was expecting the set piece to be a forte of the Steve Borthwick side, but the big question is, are England going to be good enough in the set piece to play the likes of the Irish and the French? Ireland, after all, are the #1 team in the world, so England will really need to keep improving on that facet of the game if they want to have any shot at the Irish. Hopefully England are going up just like how the Italians are. Let me know what you think of this match review in the comments, and let me know rather what you think of the analysis too. I'm just starting to take this channel full time as well, so hopefully you're keen to join my Patreon. If you're keen to just do like a one-off donation or something, you can go to my PayPal tip jar. Remember to follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. I'm going to go off and edit now. Thank you guys once again. Cheers from Max.